Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to a small pre session introduction for the Dragon Age Pathfinder game, Dragon Age Rise of the Qunari. Our scene starts off in the now X Tower of the Inquisition fortification, where several high up members of the previous Inquisition are deciding what to do about the events that have conspired on Ferelden in the past few weeks. It's been a very hardship time. Our scene will now pan us to the main entry room where quite a few new potential recruits to the Inquisition are waiting, discussing, and seeing what fate will befall them. We now pan to a woman dressed in fairly ordained armor, breastplates, uh, white and blue, the typical colors of the Grey Wardens, with her design, and on her shoulder lies the pattern of what looks to be a phoenix. And she is going around talking with several of the new recruits, and she spies a couple new potentials that seem to have just wandered into the Inquisition this very day. She strolls on over. And she's like, "Oh, Serena, I didn't know you were potential in this.
Hello, Prissila. Nice seeing you.
Always a pleasure. I haven't seen you this far north. What brings you here?
Well, I heard you're taking people. I came to join. Vlad's gone. We don't know when it will be back, so I need to occupy my time somehow.
Indeed, the you heard about
Mm-hmm.
what was yeah, that's bad news for Ferelden. Apparently, the High Council decided that the Inquisition was a mandatory asset, and that we've started pulling from all resources. As you can see, as she kind of presents her tabard kind of to you, and she says, "As you can see, even we were called upon, pulled from our other stations now that the blight is no longer a threat."
Well, if we can be of use to the world, better than doing nothing, I suppose, until and wait until we're needed again. Let's just make ourselves useful anyway.
I'll be honest, I didn't think you'd accept.
We'll see how it goes, I suppose.
I must ask, since you are here and unharmed, how did the last expedition to the Deep Roads go? You went very far.
Yes, I managed to return. I can't say the same for all others.
How many casualties?
Well, not many young ones, so we're good.
Well, despite that, perhaps things will look up. But
I hope so.
our current Inquisitor has suffered a very mortal injury recently, and we're currently in decision on to split the Inquisition into two primary sects, and we're still deciding on who we want to lead the second sect.
Hmm.
Um,
So,
we
what's the
wanted,
difference between the sects?
well, the first sect will continue its normal duties, patrolling, policing, doing everything that we were doing before, mainly dealing with public order, etc. The other section, the Inquisition, will be resource and war based. If this war does come to Ferelden and hits Ferelden shores, which it will, then we will be somewhat of an elite squad, so to speak. We will be black ops. We will be
Hmm.
assassins. We will be whatever we need to be at this point.
Okay.
I assume that these talents do not bother you.
Not at all. That's where my skills lie, as you know.
Hmm. Nonetheless, we will definitely be wading into the thick of things. Um, it's not official right now, but some of the mages are talking. And
And
although although as a Grey Warden I do not feel the call, but they are talking about veil shifts.
I did hear some things, but nothing very specific.
She lowers her voice very quietly and she's like, "Do you realize the implications, though? What would happen if we had to fight a war and another blight at once? That would be the end of humanity as we know it."
Well, perhaps we could use a blight to our advantage. But
Perhaps.
that would be very difficult to do.
Anyway, since I since we are recruiting and since I am one of the higher ups at the moment, um, why don't we go over and I'll get your name signed down and we can go ahead and get you signed up because I have normally with the new recruits we have to have someone vouch, but as I know you, I will clearly vouch for you in this circumstance. Let's go get your thing.
Right, thank you.
We've had to open up a bunch of different shops and resources. We also have had to gather some acquisition and
Mm.
quite a few marketers now that we've got to increase our resources by funding. Despite the fact that some local council in Redcliffe and a few others have provided funding for us, we still are somewhat of an independent.
Anything I can do?
There may be something actually, and she kind of brings you over to a desk and she starts signing out parchments and has you sign certain ones. And as you're doing this, she pulls down a book from one of the shelves and she opens it up and she starts reading and she says, "There may be something I have to have you do and you do personally. Maybe you and one other, but this would be a task for only two.
Mhm.
I need you to go to Redcliffe and I need you to um, do a little bit of investigation in a certain right hand of the king, so to speak.
Hmm.
This
Okay.
hand has been proving to be, as we use it in code, a bit of an asset problem. If he is indeed doing what I think he is doing, which is selling information to the enemy already before the war has even begun on our shores, then he is a problem that needs to be dealt with now. And although we would deal with this the diplomatic way with the king of Redcliffe has been silent for the past few weeks and has not responded to what we have been doing. I
That
have
is
been
cause for concern, yes.
indeed it is, and I have been meaning to send some to investigate, but I have not had the time. With this influence of new recruits, though, however, I feel I can send you because I know your work.
I will ride to Redcliffe as soon as you wish
The sooner the better.
and
Any
see if the.
supplies, any basic supplies you may need, you can get at the front. Oh, by the way, since your coin purse is depleted, I thought I should mention we have bounties and contracts like we normally used to do, if you remember that. But
Mhm.
luckily, we do pay a little bit up front. And she tosses you a bag of 100 gold pieces, and she says, "Double that when you get back. We'll discuss requisition as well."
It shall be done. She will grab the coin pouch and put it in somewhere.
She says, "We also have two alchemists, and everything that you can buy at the shops, you can buy at a 25% discount if you're an Inquisition member. We've had to get quite a few recently, so if you want to stock up on any potions or just grab a little small something before you leave, just talk with one of our alchemists. I believe we have two right now stationed here.
Good to know, thank you. I will see if I need anything that I don't currently possess. And I will ride for Redcliffe right away.
She seems to do something that you haven't seen in a bit. Most magic in Ferelden is pretty self-explanatory. You are either a Templar, you use Ethereum, or you're a mage. And you've seen Prissila do things before that looked a little bit odd to you, but as of recently, you notice that when she does magic, she is not a mage by any means. She's been a Templar. She was previously a Templar before she became a Grey Warden. And her eyes seem to glow a bit white, and she does a very strange incantation with her hand. And she seems to be talking to someone. And she says, Jacklyn, are you there?
Yes.
We may have a good friend of mine stopping by for a possible potion buy or some supplies. Would you mind seeing her well stocked before she leaves?
Of course. Will she need a accompaniment?
That is
Possibly some heavy ordnance?
at the moment for this particular mission I'm sending on. We need a bit more of a subtle hand, but
Aw,
there will
so
definitely be
sad.
missions. There will definitely be missions in the future where I will be sending you. Worry not.
Very well. Send her on over. I'll be working on my formula for the Mubari treats.
Of course. Serena, if you
Mhm.
would take the hallway on the right, go all the way down to the final door, straight. Can't miss it. That is our first alchemy lab that we are getting established.
Okay, I will go there at once.
Good luck, Serena.
Thank you. I will see it through. And
You
Serena
head
will
on.
go to the
Yep.
alchemy.
Yep. As you head on down the hallway, you notice that the Inquisition place is fairly well established, although they do seem to be repairing from some damage. And you head down to the hallway. You open up this big black kind of iron door, and you see, since Jared's portrait is not up, you see that picture, and you see the woman. And
Wait, my
what will
banner
be what?
still isn't up?
It is not, but
It
that's
is
okay.
not.
Um,
The
I'll just post the
fuck?
picture. You see that woman standing, and what is she doing, Jared?
You see her swirling around some liquids in various vials, and it looks like there's various of the standard Mubari treats in front of her, and she looks to be dripping various alchemical compositions onto them and feeding them to the Mubari next to her, seeing if he likes it or not.
Okay.
Obviously, not paying attention.
Yeah. Hello. Are you the alchemist?
Oh, yes. Ah, you must be,
Serena.
Serena. That's right. Right this way, right this way. She walks over to another bench and starts gathering up the various health potions, some regeneration potions. By chance, do you cast magic? Got some lyrium potions here that might prove useful if you do.
No. I think what would be more useful to me at this moment would be some sort of poison, perhaps. If not lethal,
Mm,
maybe one that would incapacitate a person enough to be.
Jacklyn, right now, due to acquisitions being low, there are two kinds of poison you have. You have the standard sleep, which in Pathfinder would be the equivalent of drow poison.
Yeah.
And you have scorpion tail, which deals 1d6 per minute. It's a slow acting poison, but it is effective. It can kill if done right. And then of course you have the knockout poison. Those are the two poisons you currently have access to that you can requisition.
What's the difference between the sleep and the knockout?
The sleep is really quick. From what she tells you, like literally just a prick, like literally a prick of the finger, and person's going to go out in like 5 seconds if they fail their save. The other one is slower, and it takes time to kill someone, but it is deadly. It can you just have to make sure that someone is either stabbed or ingested with it, and it will take time, probably about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours to do, but it can kill if not seen.
I prefer to use it in food or drink because it's very soluble, very tasteless.
What is the price for these potions? These poisons, rather.
For her right now, either or would be 50.
50, but I'll do a deal with you. If you happen to come across any alchemical components and bring them back here, I may be able to throw a bit of extra potions your way. Maybe even an extra dose of poison. Just anything you can get. If you happen to find some elf fruit along the road, that's fine. But really anything that is used in alchemy. I am not picky.
I will see what I can come up with on my way back. For now, I'll take one of each.
Alrighty.
And I'll take the pouch I just received, and give it to the alchemist.
Okay. I went ahead and rolled a knowledge check for you there, Christine. You know that Redcliffe has some very nice minerals in its earth, and some of these minerals can be found and put into some very interesting alchemical components. Something to store away for later.
Okay.
It's mostly the fact that they can harvest these gems, and typically you see this material that he's talking about. You can't remember its name, but you know it's used for some decent alchemical compounds. And it's usually reddish in nature, although it is not Ethereum. But it's more of a red gemstone, and if you see any when you go to Redcliffe, that would definitely be something to pick up and give back to Jacklyn, if you could.
All right. What time of the day is it?
Right now, it is currently 2 in the afternoon.
Okay, and how far is Redcliffe from where we are?
Currently, from where you are, it would be 2 to 3 days travel.
Okay, so where are we? So again.
I will eventually be getting a map up, but you are currently south of Redcliffe, which is about mid-Ferelden.
South east or southwest?
Southwest.
Didn't you say it was north before?
Yes, but you were stationed south of that, so you were even further. You've come north, or you've come north. Now you got to go more north, because you were down way in the south at the Southern Deep Road entrance.
Okay.
You be one of them southern
like
girls.
around Frostback Mountains, kinda, or the other way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly where I had you. I've literally got it written in my notes. Frostback
Mountain.
Okay. So.
Right on the edges of the wood.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So what I will do is I will find a place to sleep, and at nightfall, I'm gonna start my way towards Redcliffe.
That will be easy enough. There's actually several caravan routes that are going out, so if you wanted to latch onto one of those or grab a horse and kind of just follow one out, that would be the more preferable route. The roads at night are somewhat dangerous, but although the land has been quelled a little bit, um, you can easily find a room tonight and rest up. Uh, and then you can head out on your way during the night. Air is cold, but it's nothing you haven't seen before. And we will go ahead and have you proceed onward to Red Keep. And we will do that with you at another time as we go back to Jacklyn for a moment.
Jacklyn?
Jacklyn, sorry. And let me go ahead and switch photos here. Jacklyn, it's quiet for a moment after your conversation. And then you can hear footsteps coming down from the hallway as someone else appears to be entering. Just let me find the picture and we'll do the scene here and then we'll call it good. You sense that as you were working on an alchemical component earlier, you were very close onto something, but it kind of left your mind a bit. And you're wondering, you're sitting there wondering, well, dang, what did I do? Like, what did I use for that?
Well, since I keep very meticulous notes of alchemical compounds that I do, I'll start looking through my notes again and seeing, like, retracing my steps, seeing what's going on.
You hear a knock at the front of the door.
Without turning away from my notes, I'll call, "Come in."
You see Prissila enter.
Oh, hello, Prissila. What can I do you for?
Hello, Jacklyn. I was wondering how you were taking to your new accommodations.
Oh, just wonderfully, thank you.
I
It's
would.
nice to be in a house and not be in a circle.
Of course. I wanted to ask. Uh, I know I had already proposed this to you earlier, but would you be interested in a permanent position here?
Can you guarantee that I won't be put into a circle and treated like a normal human being?
I can most certainly assure you that you will not be put into any circle so long as I am breathing. I can also certainly promise you that I will treat you like a human being. I cannot speak
I,
for others, but I think that most people here of this inquisition, while you are here, will treat you like a human. If we go off and we go to other places, I cannot guarantee what will happen. But if anyone should
fair.
try and inhibit an inquisitor, that is punishable by law. And if anyone should try and imprison you or put you in a circle by force, I'll see to them met at the end of a blade.
Very much appreciated, Prissila.
Of course. Speaking of which, I wanted to talk with you about a possible acquisition we could get. I have no doubt that my good friend that you just spoke with is purchased a poison from you.
Yes. Both poisons that we have available, actually.
Indeed, I figured as much. I think I may have found a way to get a few more components for some better poisons.
Ooh,
And
lovely.
I'll post it up on the bounty board if you wish to actually go on the expedition yourself. It's mostly just a simple gathering expedition, but it seems that there are some. There's a new interesting species of wildflower that has started growing on the western hills, just slightly west of us.
Really?
Yeah, the only problem is that it's also in a particularly large portion of bandit territory. So we will have to send a small group to go see what we can get. Some of these flowers are very valuable, not only just for their liquids, but for selling on the market as well.
Well, if they have an alchemical composition, I say we stockpile them so we're not falling short on them in future aspects of this war.
Indeed.
Because for all we know, it might be an explosive compound. And we don't want that in the wrong hands.
Indeed. And there will be no doubt that you'll be called upon to make inventions of war. Is this all right with you?
Already got ideas forming.
Then I look forward to working with you. She stands up.
I hold out my hand to her for a shake.
She shakes, and you can see the two very well master-crafted rapiers that rest at her hip. And she shakes your hand, and she says, well, now it's on to talking with the other recruits and seeing just how many we get. We may have a full house soon.
Very nice.
You will be
Maybe
in
we can
business.
actually get this war underway and get it out of the way.
Indeed. She gives a little nod, and she leaves the small alchemical space and closes the door behind her. And with that, we will end this small intro session. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.